Hi all, it's Diana again for Project 3. I'll do a quick walkthrough of my code, my circuit, and the demo. Won't spend too much time on my code here because the structure is pretty much the same as from Project 2, since I decided to stick with the round robin with interrupt architecture. And the rest of it's really derived from the provided tachometer tutorial and the brushless DC motor tutorial that came with my Arduino kit. So overall, I have two interrupts set up here. One is to trigger each second to mark the ready to read RPM flag for the main loop to queue off of. And the other interrupt is a more interesting one that came from the tutorial. And this essentially increments the number of times that something has obstructed the IR light in the circuit, and this will ultimately amount to the RPM measurement. And then up top and in my setup function, I have all of the standard things for initializing stuff. And then down below, I have my main loop. And again, this is pretty similar to before. It just accounts for starting and stopping the motor, as well as calculating what the RPM is. So pretty similar as last time, so I won't go through this. So next up is my circuit, and there are three main components. One is for the IR LED or emitter. The next big part is the IR detector. And then the last part over here is for controlling the brushless propeller. So the IR circuit over here is pretty straightforward, and this consists of power connected to resistor connected to the LED, which goes back to ground. And then over here, it's a little bit more complicated, but it involves using the 5-volt power, which then goes to, connects back to the input pin 2, which is where I have the interrupt set up and attached to. And that then goes to the resistor, and then it goes to the IR detector and then back to ground. So one thing to note here is that I do have a debug LED in the background that I haven't quite taken out yet, but this is sort of used as a sanity check for me to validate that the IR detector is actually sensing things. So if I put my finger in front of it, changes brightness. So I've been using that to help me out. Then over here, I still have the input pin from the tutorial that I haven't taken out, but this is also just another debug method. And then over here, I have the circuit for the brushless propeller. So this involves an NPN transistor and then a diode, and then the power and ground from the motor, and then a resistor, and then all that connects back up, and I control the PWM, or the pulse width modulation of the motor, using pin number 3 over here. Let's get this demo going. So over here on the console, you can see that the RPM is currently 0. So I'll go ahead and start the motor. Okay, now it's going. I'm gonna put it in between the sensor and detector. And now over here, you can see that the RPM is non-zero. So it's measuring the RPM. And at the beginning, you might have noticed that I had to put some tape onto the propeller blades, and that was just to help out with being able to break the light in between the LED and the sensor. Anyway, that's my demo. Thanks for watching.